Hi everyone, welcome back to PrepLoop. Till now we have printed values and variables. Now it's time to do something with them. So in this video we will learn operators which help us perform calculations and comparisons. So let's see what is an operator. Operator is simply a symbol that performs an operation. So for example, we have plus operation to add two values, and to compare values we have greater than, less than, and we also have something like this to check multiple conditions. So why do we need these operators? Basically to perform any kind of calculations or do any comparisons or to make any decisions, we need operators. So almost every real Java program uses operators. Let's see types of operators now. So currently there are three types of operators which is used in Java: arithmetic, relational operators, and logical operators. Let's see all this one by one with examples. So let's start with arithmetic operators. So we have addition, subtraction, and multiplication, division, and modulus. Let's see all this with examples. So I'll take two integers here, a equal to 10 for example, and int b equal to 3. Let's print all these operators. Here I am adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing. Here I will see what this remainder gives here. Okay, so let's run this program. You can see this, right? So for the first one is addition, 10 plus 3 is 13, and then 10 minus 3 is 7, and 10 into 3 is 30. Here a divided by b is giving 3 and not 3.33. So remember, if we are dividing two integers here, right, it actually gives an integer as the output and not the decimal values here. So that's why it's giving 3 and not 3.3, and here it gives the remainder. So here what happens, 10 by 3 will actually give the division value which is 3, remainder value will be 1. Okay. So modulus always gives the remainder between these two. For example, if we give 2 here and run, it will be 0. Okay, and if you use float here or double, let's take double and double, and here 3, and if you run this, you will get the 3.3.3. and here also 1.0 as reminder. Okay, so in arithmetic operators, the main thing to consider here is division will only give you 3 and not 3.3, because it will not give you the decimal value if the variable is of type integer. And there is one more precedence which is important. So for example, if we run this, so guess the answer of this statement. So I am just doing this 10 plus 5 into 2. Okay, and I will print the problem one. Okay, so pause the video now and let me know what's the output of this line. So what I have done here, 10 plus 5 into 2. So what will be the answer here? Let's see. Yeah, so the answer is 20 and not 30. So here what's happening is, okay, it's not performing 10 plus 5 first. 10 plus 5 is 15, and then 15 star 2 will be 30, right? But this is not happening here, because in Java follows few operator precedence where star runs before plus, and the modulus, division, and star has the highest precedence than the plus, addition, and subtraction. So it always executes star, division, and modulus first before executing plus or minus. Now I want 30 and not 20. So in the previous video, I think I have already explained the brackets we should use to prioritize the any operation. So bracket has more precedence than these two below. So if you add bracket here for 10 and 15, then it considers to calculate this first and then multiplies with 2, like I mentioned here. See, the answer is 30. So let's quickly print this 2 with and without brackets. So here first it multiplies 5 into 2, which is 10, and 10 will be added with 10. Okay, so this is executed first and this will be added with 10. Here the other way, the brackets will be executed 15 and then multiplied with 2. So these calculations you should know. So please remember the operator precedence. Now let's move to the next type, which is relational operators. Okay. So relation operators are greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, equal to and not equal to. Okay. So these operators compare values and always return true or false. So the relational operators always returns true or false. So let's take new example again here. Let's have int x equal to 10 and int y equal to 20. Okay. Let's use all these operators below. Yeah, I'm using everything here. So relational operators. Okay. Let's run this. Yeah. So from here, let's see if x is greater than y. No, right? So it's false. So x is not greater than y. And x is lesser than y. Yes, true. And that's why it prints true. And x is greater than or equal to y, then it is false. And x is less than, again it's true. And it's not equal to, so it's false again. And it's not equal to, which is true. So x is not equal to true. So now just to show this with same values, I'll use 10 and 10 here. So in this case, we get, so obviously these two will be false, as this is not even greater or lesser. Okay. And all these things, right, these three will be true, because here it's greater than or equal to. So here it means return true if it's x is greater, or even if it's equal to y, then return true. Here we have two conditions, so lesser than or equal to y, and here it's equal to y, yes it's true, and it's not equal to y, yeah, false. So x is equal to y, and this is a false condition. So this is about relational operators. How do we combine this arithmetic and operators and relational operators? So let's take one more example quickly. Okay. So in this example, we are combining both arithmetic operators and also a relational operator. And in this case, let me know in the comments if you know that whether these operations will be done first or the comparison will happen first. Problem 2, and let's run this and check. Okay, so it's false. So remember, expressions are evaluated first, then comparison happens. So in this case, p is 10, right? So p plus 5 is 15, and which greater than is not yet evaluated. So then 20 minus 3, which is 17, right? Now 15 is greater than 17 is evaluated, and it returns false because 15 is not greater than 17. So this is how we combine the operators. So let's check one of the interview questions. So just tell me if this is true or false. So x equal to 10 and y equal to 10, and if you see x equal to y, here it throws the error because equal to is assignment operator and not a relational operator. So one equal to is used here, right? So 10 is assigned to P and 20 is assigned to Q, which is assignment operator. And when we have to use it for relational operators, it is always 2 equal to. That is, we have to use one more equals here. Then if you run, it will give true because x is equal to y. Now next move to the last one, which is logical operator. So we have and, or, and not. So this is the logical operators we use in Java. So logical operators combine multiple conditions. So I'll explain that with an example. Yeah. So let's think that age is 25 and Boolean value, that is has id equal to true. Now in this case we have to check if both are valid. In that case we will pass something like this: if age is greater than 18 and also if that person has some id, or in that case we want only one id. In that case we will use or operator, and if he doesn't have the id, then let's run this. Here it's true because it's greater than 18 years and it has a id true, so it's true. But in this case also it's true because it's greater than 80 or has id. Not is always the opposite to what is given here. So as id it's true, right? So it's giving false. So one more problem 3. Here if you see, so the age is greater, so both statements are same only. In this case we will get one as false, the other one as true. So here if you see, this is a AND operator, so it checks both conditions. If it's true, then only it gives true. One of the condition is false here, which is greater than 18, that's why it gives false. But in the second case, even if it is false, it is OR operator, so it checks, okay, this is false, let's check with the next one. So next one is true, right? So it just gives you the true. So one of the following can match, that is fine. So either you can match with id or with age. So we have something called short circuit behavior. What is short circuits? So remember this interview question. So AND stops early if false and OR stops early if true. So this means, for example, first condition itself is false, then it immediately stops. It doesn't even check for the second one, because anyway the entire logic, like there are multiple checks. For example, and x is greater than 20, for example. So there are multiple checks here, right? More than one. Here if age is greater than itself a issue, then it will not even check if it's a AND condition. So that's why it stops early if first one itself false. OR condition is again the same. We will add OR like this, right? If this is true, okay, maybe we will say age is less than 18. So if age is less than 18, then I don't have to check all this, because anyway one of the condition should be true, right? So if the first condition itself is true, I'll come out and return true here. It doesn't even check for the remaining conditions there. If it's confusing, it's okay. Going forward in other videos when we try with examples, it will be more clear for you. Yeah, let's recap what we learned today. So we learned the basic operators in Java. We also saw how each one of it works using the print statements. In the next episode, we will learn how to take input from the user using the scanner class, so programs becomes interactive. Thanks for watching.